I have some video and audio for you today that is truly the height of absurdity when you talk about unelected people in positions of huge power merely because they are related to someone. Of course, our minds immediately should go, when I say that, to Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law. Jared Kushner was interviewed by Time magazine earlier this week, and he was asked, is it possible that the November election could be postponed because of coronavirus? Now, before I play the audio for you, the question is fraught. The question is fraught because it's not really up to the Trump administration. You'd have to move heaven and earth to do it, but you could ask 50 states individually to postpone their elections. And there's a question as to whether all states would even be able to do it. But even if you managed to do that, you could really only delay the November election a few weeks, because in December, the electors have to certify that election unless you can actually get what would likely need to be a constitutional change or, maybe a Supreme Court decision. It would be insanely difficult to actually postpone the November election. It's also a fraught question because Jared Kushner should have no involvement or opinion about this at all. He's just Trump's son-in-law. He's been made an advisor, which is horrifying. But okay, Jared Kushner is asked about this. Now, what I want to think about here is whether this has been blown out of proportion, because there have been a lot of apoplectic headlines saying Jared Kushner is laying the groundwork to postpone the presidential election or trying to postpone the presidential election. I don't know that that's the case necessarily, looking at the clip. Let's take a look at it.
Is there any scenario, including a second outbreak in the fall, where the elections move past November 3rd?
That's too far in the future to tell. Nothing that I'm aware of now. But again, our focus right now is just on getting the country.
Will you commit that the elections will happen on November 3rd?
It's not my decision to make, so I'm not sure I can commit one way or the other. But right now, that's the plan. And again, hopefully, by the time we get to September, October, November, we've done enough work with testing and with all the different things we're trying to do.
So Jared says the plan is for November 3rd. I can't commit to it, but it's not his position to commit. He has no power in when the election is held. Even Trump essentially has no power in when the election is held. So I actually do believe this was a little bit blown out of proportion. There's another idea, which is, okay, Jared can't do anything about it, but that's why Jared said it. It's a trial balloon to gauge reaction to it. If people go absolutely crazy, in the end, Jared has no say or involvement in this, so it's no big deal. On the other hand, if Jared Kushner were to say something and the reaction to it is positive or not that negative, then this could be actually sort of a trial balloon. I just don't buy it. I think what happened here is that Jared Kushner's wording is very clumsy. And what we're mostly reacting to is the fact that Jared Kushner shouldn't be involved at all in anything that's going on. He shouldn't be answering questions about when the election is going to be held. He should be barred by nepotism laws from even being involved with this administration. Now, don't get me wrong. Donald Trump may well be thinking of trying to move the election. He may end up trying to move the election. I just don't think Jared Kushner's comments are the smoking gun. And I also don't believe Trump would succeed in doing it. Now, in any case, this blew up and Jared Kushner ended up having to put out a comment clarifying what he said. And he said, quote, "I have not been involved in, nor am I aware of, any discussions about trying to change the date of the presidential election." So for me, the story is not Jared Kushner is floating moving the election. To me, the story is, why are people talking to Jared Kushner? Why is Jared Kushner involved in things he knows nothing about? Jared Kushner has no authority. Trump doesn't even have the legal authority to move the election. Are they trying to, are they likely, the Trump administration, are they likely to try to do everything they can to maintain power? Of course. Voter suppression, disinformation propaganda, lying about their handling of coronavirus, lying about the state of the economy, lying about Joe Biden. They're going to do what we would colloquially call trying to rig the election in their favor. But it's not going to be Jared Kushner changing election day. Now, what can we do? Number one, don't fall for the propaganda. Number two, push states to adopt vote by mail. Number three, get people registered. Number four, obviously make sure that you vote. One last thing on postponing the election, which I think is important, and it should reduce the hysteria a little bit. If the election is postponed, imagine they succeed, right? I don't see the path to it, but imagine they succeed. and there's no new president to inaugurate in January of 2021, I'm just thinking out loud here, the Speaker of the House becomes the president. Now, right now, that's Nancy Pelosi, Democratic Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. I believe Trump will do anything that he can to prevent Nancy Pelosi from becoming president of the United States. Now, if you really want to get in the weeds, you could have a situation where there's no election in November. Imagine, I don't think it's good, but imagine there's no election in November. And because the election is postponed, you don't even have enough Congress people to have them in D.C. with a quorum to make Nancy Pelosi the president. In that case, the next person in line becomes next person in line to be president would be the Senate President pro temp. Right now, that's Chuck Grassley. This obviously gets very dicey in that Republicans would likely, in that scenario, try to prevent it from going to Nancy Pelosi, skip over her, and go to Grassley. I'm merely going through the motions here. I don't believe this would happen, but there is a scenario where the outcome of Trump's postponing of the election makes Nancy Pelosi the president until an election is held. There's no way Trump is going to take any action that would make that likely. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Pakman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. It takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft. And it's free. There's no catch whatsoever. But if you want, Privacy also offers a $10 a month plan that gives you 1% cash back and lets you create 36 credit cards a month, and a $25 a month plan tailored more for small businesses where you can create 60 card numbers a month and much more. But definitely go ahead and at least get started with the free plan. You'll protect your financial info. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pakman.